Good evening, everyone. I thought I'd do a bit of an update vlog this evening. I thought you could be my bartender and I can talk drivel. So tonight, this is from New Zealand. It's called Squealing Pig. A strange name for a wine, but anyway. Hopefully it tastes better than the name. So I've got a few things to talk about today. And some of these are in response to previous videos that I've kind of left open. You know, I've said, oh, these are the plans, this is what I'm going to do. And I haven't done anything more on a video about them, so I thought I could explain a few things. That's good. Okay, so firstly, swimming. Can't remember the exact date, but I was getting back in the pool, getting back into training. I thought, you know what, this summer, and we are well and truly into summer now, I'm going to get fit again, and I'm going to get back involved in open water distance racing. What happened? Well, I think I mentioned that I was waiting for the schedule of the races for the season. Was a bit concerned about the previous seasons being a little bit, I don't know, short and Mickey Mouse. And they came out and they were no better. In fact, if anything, they were worse than the previous seasons. I didn't really think there was a reason for this year. Nothing longer than 3K, most around the 1 and 2K length. Oh, it's way too short for me. So I lost a bit of enthusiasm and in my normal tactful way contacted Masters Swimming just to ask them about it. And in the end decided to follow up with another question. Can I use a wetsuit? Now, of course, you go faster in a wetsuit, but I just wanted to know, can I use a wetsuit even if I'm not eligible for any kind of prizes, just for a different challenge, okay? Because the challenge to do well in a 5K or 10K race wasn't there because it's not available. You know what? Maybe by the end of the season I can come out of the water first in a wetsuit. It's just a different challenge. And yeah, I could have done that. But then I started having some difficulty finding lane space in the pool. Not so much of a problem initially because it was cool a lot later in the year and I could get in when I had the opportunity. But shortly afterwards, when it got really hot, there just wasn't the space. So yeah, I've kind of put that one on hold to my regret, but it is what it is. If you're going to do well in a race, you have to do the training. It's as simple as that. And I think I did about 5 weeks. Things were getting quite a bit better, but I have put that one on hold for the moment. I did get back into scuba diving, and most of my gear has been serviced now. That's probably been one of the biggest pleasures, to get out there, to get in the water again, particularly on a hot day, to start exploring, looking around. And I'm really hoping I can go out to some of the local dive sites, some of the wrecks, and maybe just take a camera and do it in a really raw fashion, right? Rather than really well edited, what I'm thinking is maybe I just stick it on my head mount, and concentrate more on the diving, take you for a ride, doing some wreck exploration, and talk about it later, rather than putting it to music or anything like that. Sometimes that's even more engaging, just taking you on the ride. And yeah, you've got to put up with this moving head and moving camera, but you know, I think it sometimes is a more raw way of doing a video, and I might try that. So some of the local charters regularly go out to some of the wrecks, and some of them are actually very good. So stay tuned for that. That's still on the agenda. Then there was free diving. So I've been getting out, doing a bit of free diving, taking my partner out on some snorkeling because she hasn't done much of that before. And then I put out this controversial video, which I don't think is controversial, but obviously some people do, on this topic of solo freediving. I say I don't think it's controversial because personally I think to want discussion on the subject, discussion on something that most of us know is happening, I don't think should be controversial. The actual subject is, but you know what? If it's happening, let's discuss it. And most people responded pretty positively, and even if they didn't agree or didn't practice it, they came back with very constructive comments. That was for a few days, and then we started getting a few people name calling and things like that. It's like, oh, really? That just stops the conversation, and that's when I noticed the level of discourse stop. And unfortunately, that's the problem. So you don't stop people from doing it. People just don't talk about it. So yeah, I found that very interesting. Again, credit to most people in the freediving community. The spearfishing community seems to have a much more open position on that. It's not to say they don't take risk management very seriously. They do, but they just, again, realise that it does happen. And I actually think that's probably the community I might get more involved in, because it's a skill I want to learn on top of freediving. And I mean, I eat fish, so why not go out and be very selective in what I'm catching, because you can see it. And you know what? Why not build on a skill I've already got? So that is probably going to happen. And always happy to learn a new skill. Then there's the other thing that's happened recently, which is go-karting. I have always wanted to get back into go-karting. I was involved in it as a kid, 15, 16 sort of age group. And a number of times since then, I've nearly got back involved in it, the competitive side of go-karting. All it would take is to go down to the hire kart track, and there's a number of them, have a few laps and go, my goodness, I enjoy doing this. That feeling never goes away. And I looked into it very seriously about 12, 13 years ago, but there wasn't a class that was budget enough to make it worthwhile. That is, the classes that existed, regular tyre changes, regular engine rebuilds. I just thought, I need a class that is more budget. And then a few years ago, I was looking into it again, and this class called 4SS came out, which is a 4-stroke class, and that ticks all the boxes. So again, I started looking at it, but came to the conclusion I have too many consuming expensive hobbies, so it didn't happen. I thought, you know what, I'll just go down the hire track occasionally and just enjoy myself, which is what I was doing. And then they opened one close to where I live, and it's a fantastic venue. It really is. A lot of thought has gone into it, and I'm going to talk more about this one. It's called Extreme Karting and Leisure, and the whole family are really, really friendly, really helpful, really passionate about karting and the sport, and very heavily involved in competition. So there's a lot of knowledge there. And I went out quite regularly. It was really enjoying being there, and had a few conversations, turned a few heads, because obviously I was keen. And then we got in a discussion about me possibly getting into 4SS. I go, well, I have looked at this, and I am keen. I would love to do it, but too many expensive hobbies. Well, I got this close to committing to going back into it because of a very generous offer to use a really good chassis. And I'd go out and get the engine, and they get put together, and it would have probably been a fantastic package. Unfortunately, I did the maths, and just some of the little things started adding up, and it got to the point where I thought, you know what, if I wanted to do that, it's not completely off the cards, but I would probably have to sacrifice one of my other interests, like selling the boat, and I'm not quite ready to do that yet. So, yeah, what a beast that kart would have been to drive. Who knows down the track, but for the moment that was going to be put on hold, so I'm just going to go down, have a bit of a drive occasionally on the hire karts, have some fun, and keep my ear to the ground as to what is going on in the competitive arena. Who knows? So I'll do some more videos on this very subject, take you down to the track, show you this venue. I might go to some of the other ones as well, but this one is close to me, and I actually think it has the potential to be the best hire kart venue in South Australia. So, yeah, really good, because it's just down the road from where I live. That's what I've been doing, and I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're keeping it real. Until next time, cheers.